Hey guys, a Sunday message for you. I canceled our call tonight for personal reasons, actually. And this morning I woke up to excuse me, to a text message that was quite unpleasant, and I wanted to share it with all of you because it really applies to what you and I do every day of our lives. Some full time, some part time, but either way, it doesn't lessen the importance of what we do. But I've got my oldest friend in my life, nearly 30 years together now. He lives in Southern California. I live in Northern California. We routinely get together for golf events and just to kind of catch up. We've both been through good times and bad. We've both been through good times and bad. Sorry, my battery indicator showed up on my phone there. We've both been together in good times and bad, and just a lot of years. You know, a lot of life in those 30 years. So I woke up to a text this morning that he has been in a hospital for the last 7 days. He had a major stroke 7 days ago, and he was sitting in his office when it happened. He was working after hours in his cubicle inside of the life insurance agency he works for. And just so happens 3 days prior to this event, he had applied for more life insurance coverage. So that's a good thing, and for his family. And it was a pretty severe stroke. They picked him up at 911. He was by himself in his office. He's waiting after hours for a client to come in, sign some papers. And he dialed 911 he was all alone. They picked him up, took him to the hospital, then they had to air flight him to a couple hours away to a different hospital for emergency treatment. They didn't think that he was going to make it through the evening. And he's lost complete feeling in his right side, and they told his family they didn't expect him to make it through the night. Fortunately, he has made it through the night. He is home, but on the road to recovery. It's still touch and go. Basically, one of the last remaining artery that he had was closed to 2%. So it was definitely an event that he may very well not have been here today. And again, like I said, we have a lot of history together. He's one of my best friends. He is my only best friend, really, in that respect, the closest friend that I have, outside of course, of Angela. But in any case, it just reinforced. We talked on the phone this afternoon for about 20 or 30 minutes. He's very weak. But we went through a list of things that he was thankful for, the things that he had done recently with his kids and his family. And we don't know what tomorrow holds. In my belief, there's only one person that knows what tomorrow holds. What we do know is that he's been giving a second chance. He made it through the night. We're 7 days out from the event now. He has complete paralysis of the right side. He can't do anything without somebody's help. He's bedridden basically, and we'll see how the artery does over the next couple of weeks when he goes back in for reevaluation. My point is this: when you're this is when you become a life insurance agent. When you're sitting in front of somebody and they flippantly put you off for next week, next month, next year, 6 months from now, whatever. Understand, you have to know that these stories exist. You have to know that what we do matters. This man's a life insurance agent, and fortunately, he got some coverage just 3 days prior to this event taking place. He already has some life insurance in place. He got more, but now he's really out of the market. Understand, he's 5 years out. Best case scenario. If he survives this event, to be able to apply for any additional life insurance. And it happened like that. He didn't feel good going into work that day, and then it just went downhill from there. And unfortunately, he was alone at home. So when somebody gives you those delay tactics, I mean, sometimes we look at it as trying to close a sale. It's not trying to close a sale. It's making sure that his family is protected in the event something would happen to him the minute you leave his house or their house. And you have to be able to tell those stories with passion because we know. Listen, I mean, it was a checkup for me, a checkup from the neck up, as they say, because it made me realize or remind me how fragile life is. This is my dearest friend, and I'm going. I need to get myself down there. I was planning on making a visit down to see him play some golf on the 20th of this month when we have our LA event for Equus down there in Southern California. And unfortunately, it's not going to happen now. And maybe I'll get a chance to see him hopefully, but there won't be any golf, and we don't know there'll ever be any golf again at this point. So understand, it's not sales. It's not maybe it is being pushy, but it's being pushy for a reason. Imagine had he been your customer, and 3 days ago you pushed him into getting some additional life insurance, and the good news is that he survived. But whether he survived or didn't survive, the results would be the same, and that is he's out of it. He's not even insurable now, and may not be again, and certainly won't be for the next 5 years. That's 5 years. And he's just 2 years younger than I am, so 56. So it doesn't matter how old you are, life can change instantly. And those are the things that you need to make sure that you are impinging on people when you're sitting in front of them. And the fact, and I don't know that enough of you have used this conversation, is when I tell them, look, you can price shop me, you can do whatever you need to do, but tonight, let's take an application. Because when I leave here, you're going to be covered as long as we haven't lied on the application, and they would cover you anyway. If something were to happen to you, like my friend Doug, he would have had the coverage. He would, and they would pay out. So they can shop all they want to, and they can change their mind later. But tonight, I'm sitting here. When I leave, we don't know what's going to happen, and you may not. Something may tragically happen to you. I get that everybody doesn't think that's going to happen to them. Doug didn't think that it was going to happen to him either. He's a vegetarian. I told him on the phone today. No smoking, no overweight. He's a vegetarian. He eats great. I mean, there was no signs that this would even be possible. He lives better than I do in terms of his diet and everything else. So we just don't know when that time is going to come, and that's what you and I do every single day. Out in these homes, and you need to be willing to confront these people and bring them to, as I say, coming from my preacher days, bring them to the foot of the cross. You need to have that come to Jesus meeting with them. You need to make them, get it beyond the sale to the point of this is a real deal here. And if I leave here tonight without an application, you're at risk. I don't care about the commissions as much as I care about the fact that I came here tonight for one reason and one reason only, and that was to make sure that Jack or Jill, in the event you don't come home one day because of a heart attack or cancer, I want to make sure that Jill, your wife, your spouse, your kids are not moving in with relatives and not losing this home. So tonight, let's take an application. Let me go to work for you. Let me get you the coverage. But here's the deal. As long as we haven't lied on this application and something will happen to you when I leave here tonight, for the next 3 or 4 weeks, whatever long it takes to get this application approved, you're covered. While you check rates, do whatever you want to do. It's fine. Got no problem with that. But I know when I leave here tonight, I've done my job, and that is to make sure you have the coverage. So I want to share this story with you, and we'll reconnect on the call tomorrow and go over our numbers for the month of November. We got to get after it. We're a little bit behind this month, but I trust that we've had a little bit of a break here, and we can now focus on the finish line. So remember, it's not about numbers. It's not about sales. We all need to hit our goals. We all need to do our sales, but it's really about doing our job. And our job is to get them to have that conversation with themselves, with their spouse, sitting in front of us. And that is that they're at risk, and we can solve that risk right now. Thank you. Have a great night. Bye-bye.